Let's look ahead to Monday. There are 6 games on in the NBA. Let's preview them. Let's look at streaming options, and let's wait for Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and Christmas is about a little baby being born in a shed at the back of a pub. And this bloke said, I've got an idea that maybe we shouldn't die. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Blue Sky, joshlloyd.bsky.social, on Twitter at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by Robinhood Gold, providing the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. The generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Also, check out lockedondaily.com and find a newsletter for your favorite NBA team delivered to your email inbox 5 days a week, and double bang over here. On the YouTube side of things, on the audio side, you can watch and you can listen, you can do all of that stuff. We're talking Monday. It is a 6-game day in the NBA, and then, of course, on Tuesday and on Wednesday, there are no games that count for fantasy. We know this by now, yes. The NBA Cup final is on Tuesday between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Oklahoma City Thunder. And for fantasy, all you're hoping is that none of your players get hurt. That's it. This game does not count. And there are 0 games on Wednesday. Remember that. Remember. It's hard when you talk quick. That is what we're talking about. No Tuesday, no Wednesday. But 6 games Monday is where we are at the moment. So let's take a look at what is on my radar for this 6 games. And we got some good and some bad news with some injury updates that have dropped recently. We'll go to the first game. This is where there's, I guess, sort of a bad news situation. It is the Miami Heat and the Detroit Pistons. In terms of spread, Miami is 3.5-point favorites here on the road. The schedule, Miami is Monday, Friday, Saturday, and then they play 4 games in Week 10. After that, yes, that is Week 10. I know Yahoo's is different. Not everyone plays on Yahoo. Yes? Week 10 is how we're calling it. This is Week 9 currently. Miami goes Monday, Wednesday, Friday into 4 games the week after. Detroit is Monday, Thursday, Saturday into 3 games the week after. Palo Larson is out for Miami. Joshie Richardson is out. Nikola Jovic, Little Chunkus, he's out with an ankle issue. Bob Klintman is out. Looks like his return is coming soon for the Pistons. He's assigned to the G League. And then we didn't know about Tobias Harris or the passport legend Jalen Duren. We do know now that Tobias Harris is out with a thumb sprain. They haven't provided a time frame on that, and it's really nebulous. What's a thumb sprain? Does it mean he's out for, it could be 3 weeks. It could be a month. It could be a day. I don't know. I would think the Detroit plays Monday, Thursday, Saturday. I would expect the over-under on games for Harris, if it was set at 1.5, I'd go under for this week. I think he probably doesn't play Thursday and maybe Saturday, but I don't know. And then Jalen Duren, the passport legend, he missed the last game with the wrist issue that sort of popped up out of nowhere, but he's not on the injury report, so he is back and ready to go. On the Miami side of things, what we're watching for is like Terry Rozier. Like, what are we actually doing here with this guy? What are his minutes? And you will see there's patterns emerging in Miami at the moment, and you'll see the minutes for Drew Smith pushing up, and they just traded away Thomas Bryant, and I believe that Drew Smith will get that standard roster spot. He's currently on a 2-way, so he'll move into that role. But you're also seeing the reduction in Haywood Highsmith. Now, that might change with Nikola Jovic out here, but Highsmith's minutes are starting to come down and down and down, and there's been a pattern with Highsmith through his career that when that happens, in about 3 games' time, he plays 0. Now, I don't know that he'll get to that, but if he pushes down, they start to go smaller. Does that mean that Rozier gets back in? I don't think I need to bother with it, to be honest, in most leagues, but we're watching it, of course. And for the Pistons, I don't think we're rostering Jaden Ivey in 12-team category leagues. He's just not doing enough. And Harris being out maybe helps marginally, but realistically to me, the path for Ivy being a 12-team cat guy this season is Cade being out, because he needs to be able to generate assists, because he doesn't do anything else. He doesn't get defensive stats. He doesn't rebound. He scores okay, but it's inefficient from both areas. So we're watching it, but I think he's a drop. In terms of stream guys, I do like Drew Smith as a stream for Miami. It's obviously, he's going to be available almost everywhere, but I actually think there is maybe even some 12-team stream appeal here. And then for the Pistons, even though Duren is back, Isaiah Stewart is an option. Now, I don't think Stewart will play at the 4 at all. I'd be really interested to see what they do with rugged Ronnie Holland. Last time Harris was out, I believe they started Asar Thompson there, but he is really struggling. They could go with Simone Fontecchio as well, but Holland absolutely cooked last game, but it was a real garbage time special. He put up a lot of his stuff towards the end of the game, so just watch that one. So we do want to watch Stewart, and we do want to see what the value might appear to be with rugged Ronnie Holland in that scenario. The next game is the Philadelphia 76ers and the Charlotte Hornets, and we did get the good injury news. And I created this graphic before that news had popped up, so we'll talk in a second. But the Sixers are 4-point favorites. They play Monday, Friday, Saturday, Philadelphia, into 3 games in Week 10. Charlotte is Monday, Thursday, Friday, into 3 games in Week 10. Now, Charlotte, that means they play on 3 consecutive NBA game days, and there is no other team that does that. The problem there, of course, is that Thursday is a 13-game day. So if you're trying to stream a Hornets player in to get this bulk value of 3 days in a row, you don't, because you're not adding a limited option on Charlotte on Thursday with 13 games on. You're just not doing that. So while it's great, it's not super, super useful for us in that scenario. The good news, let's talk the bad news. We know Jared McCain has torn his meniscus, and he's going to be out for a lengthy enough period of time here with Philadelphia. And we actually just got the news right now that Joel Embiid has been ruled out. It's dropped like literally 6 seconds ago when I'm recording this. So he is out. Caleb Martin is out again as well, while Kyle Lowry, who missed the last game, he is not on the injury report anymore, and Adem Bona is also out. So all those Sixers news just dropped literally right now. So we know that McCain is out, Embiid is out, Martin is out, Bona is out, but Lowry is returning. And then I was a little cautious on this because LaMelo Ball, we thought he'd be out, but I wrote out with an asterisk, meaning, yeah, maybe not. It's not confirmed. And it's not confirmed because LaMelo Ball has been upgraded to questionable. Now, questionable doesn't mean that he plays, but it means that if he doesn't play in this one, LaMelo, he's playing probably Thursday and then maybe sitting Friday is my guess. Back-to-back calf strain, you don't want to push that. But there is a chance that Ball plays Monday, he plays on Thursday, or he sits on Thursday, then plays Friday. So I think there's a reasonable expectation for LaMelo to get 2 games this week. So that's huge news. And it means obviously you can just turf Vasiljevic out of there as well. Trey Mann remains out, and I believe that Trey Mann is going to remain out for a lengthy period of time here. I don't think with his back injury that he is returning any point soon. Let's go to the next game, the third game of the day. It is the Chicago Bulls and the Toronto Raptors. We're heading up there to the Raptors in Toronto, which is disappointing for Chicago, I'm sure. The Bulls go Monday, Thursday, Saturday, and both Thursday and Saturday are extremely high volume games days in this week, so just be cautious of that. And then 3 games in Week 10, and Toronto has the Monday, Thursday, Sunday, so at least they avoid the Saturday, and they play 3 games the week after as well. Zach LaVine has popped up on the injury report with a questionable tag, so that is obviously something for us to watch. That is with back spasms, so are they like, I know you're going to say it's a trade, but it's not. That is just something that doesn't happen, by the way. But LaVine, tanking, sure, absolutely. But trade, no. LaVine is questionable. Dalen Terry is questionable. We saw the big fella, Nikola Vucevic, miss the last game with an illness/back issue, but he is probable. And Lonzo Ball is listed probable as well. I'm not sure why they're bothering to list Lonzo as probable, giving it his knee injury management, and it's clearly not a back-to-back, but that's what they're doing. Torrey Craig missed the last game due to an allergy, but he will be returning. And then for the Raptors, there's no Quickly, there's no Barnes. It looks like Barnes will be back around the new year, so maybe a couple more weeks to go there. And the Shark, Bruce Brown, still yet to make his season debut. For the Bulls, Josh Giddey's minutes have been up. He's played 30 minutes, I think, in 3 of the last 4 games, or close enough to that, but it is pushing up, so that is something for us to pay attention to. Are they going to be giving Giddey more playing time here? And if LaVine is out, that obviously does help him even further. And then on the Raptor side of things, with no Barnes and no Quickly, they are showing us more depth. We are getting more shot attempts from Grady, and that's what he needs. He needs to be at least the second option, and he is behind RJ Barrett. So we are using Dick at the moment in 12-team formats. I don't know that it's... in fact, I'm pretty certain it's not going to last because we've seen that Dick just doesn't last when those other players return. But they're not there, so it doesn't matter. So we just use Grady for now. In terms of streams, I do like Lonzo Ball. Obviously, if Giddey or Dosunmu are available, you go with those guys. The other variable in Chicago is Pat Williams' minutes. He returned last game and barely played. So let's see how much they use him. And then for the Raptors, they started John Mobo. He played 29 minutes in place of Barnes. I actually hate that lineup. I don't get it. They were playing RJ Barrett and Dick as their point guards, which I just don't think works. So we'll see whether they stick with that alignment. We also had Davion Mitchell foul out in like 21 minutes. So does Mitchell push and get 27? Does Mobo stay at 29? Mobo's a streamable guy, maybe. He was okay, but I wouldn't say that his lineups and his play necessitates 30 a night here. But it's something we watch, and he's at least streamable, and then we can figure out more information when we get more information later on down the track. We're going to come back and cover the other 3 games, streaming options as well, but today's episode is brought to you by Robinhood and Robinhood Gold. You do not need the old silver spoon anymore. Robinhood Gold gives you the gold spoon, maybe? No, maybe it's not a spoon. Maybe it's in fact just a way to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others, including you, to get those rates and perks that the high society normally hoards to themselves. You get the very liberal rate of 4.25% APY on uninvested cash, and you could be rewarded also with a handsome 3% retirement boost on IRA account contributions. Robinhood Gold gives you those privileges that a high net worth individual might have gotten, but now it's any net worth. Anybody can get these same privileges with Robinhood Gold. The generous benefits are available now for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. Product-specific disclosures. Visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. Today's episode is also brought to you by BetterHelp. December is the month of cozy. December is the month of comfort. And that's true. Warmer, colder weather for you guys up in the Northern Hemisphere. Christmas and family and hot drinks and fireplaces and cocoa and all that sort of stuff. But sometimes you can be a little bit unsettled. And therapy is a great way of providing yourself with some comfort. And it's not everybody's thought when we look at comfort or coziness, but it is something that can help. Talking through problems, figuring out the things that you might think about yourself, whether they're valid or not, and how we approach this stuff. And that's where therapy can come in and be really useful to provide that level of comfort. So if you've been thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. Easy to do. You go ahead and go to BetterHelp. You go online, you fill out the questionnaire. They set you up with a therapist. They match you up. If it doesn't work, you can change to another therapist at any point with no additional charge as well. So find your comfort this December with BetterHelp. Go to betterhelp.com/lockedonnba today to get 10% off your first month. That is BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedonnba. Let's go through the next games here on the slate, on the docket. It is the Cavs and the Nets. We're in Brooklyn. This is the first Brooklyn game without Dennis Schroder. They will be welcoming in the big fella, D'Anthony Milton, who won't play, and the vulture, Reese Beekman, is coming across. So what is the schedule looking like for these two teams? Cleveland is Monday, Friday, and Saturday into 2 games in Week 10, whereas Brooklyn is Monday, Thursday, Saturday, so 2 high volumes at the end of the week, into 4 games the week after. Now, we do have the updated Cavs injury report. I'm just checking if there's any more update on Embiid. Embiid won't hit 65 games, by the way. We do have some updates here. The Winter Soldier, Max Strus, has been ruled out. So despite thoughts that maybe at the end of last week he might be returning, that's not true. So he's still out. Evan Mobley, though, has been upgraded to probable. He missed that game against the Wizards, so he's going to be returning. And then we got Cam Thomas still out for Brooklyn. There was a report from, I think, Billy Reinhart that said that they're looking at a January return for Thomas, which is still a couple of weeks away, which I didn't necessarily think we'd be going that far, but that's apparently how far we are. Bojan Bogdanovic, they're saying January return. I don't know if he ever plays, to be honest, but we don't worry about that for fantasy. And Ziaire Williams remains out for the Nets as well. On the Cavs, Jarrett Allen was able to put up some better numbers with Mobley out, but Mobley is back, so we keep paying attention to the fit of Allen and how he looks, because he's been relatively inconsistent, I would say, this season. On the Nets, well, it's pretty obvious. We just want to see what happens with no Dennis Schroder. Now, we still don't fully know because Thomas isn't there, but I want to see what happens to Milton. I want to see what happens to Keon Johnson. I want to see what happens to Ben Simmons. I want to see whether Reese Beekman plays. I want to see Jalen Wilson and his playing time and usage, because someone's going to make assists on this team, and Simmons is going to do it. But do they want to play him with Claxton? Do they want Milton out there? I don't know, and that is why we watch it. I think LeVert probably still is the stream guy in Cleveland with Strus remaining out, and it probably is Simmons for Brooklyn, but I'm just being cautious about how they're using him, the way the minutes have been pushing down of late, and that concern about how he fits alongside Nick Claxton, because it's not necessarily my concern, it's their concern, and they've been pretty adamant about saying that and showing it in practice. So if they don't want to play Simmons and Claxton too much together, what does that mean for Ben's overall playing time here? I'd be a little cautious about where the upside maybe sits. The Nuggets and the Kings. is the next one we take a look at. I just noticed that we've got the Jarrett Allen, Shake Milton is what we're watching. We're not watching those guys in this game because they don't play. Denver goes Monday, Thursday, Sunday into 4 games week 10. And we know that Sacramento's got the best schedule of anybody this week, 4 games. Now, unfortunately, 2 of those games are on high volume days, but they do play Monday and Sunday, the old bookends. So while it is good on the surface and in a weekly league, that's really, really strong. But if you're looking at fringe Kings guys, not that there's many of them, the fact that if you play Monday, then you don't get an actionable game until Sunday, of course, you're only really missing Friday in that scenario because Tuesday, Wednesday, no games, Thursday, Saturday, no streaming. But you do miss the Friday opportunity, so pay attention to that. Chanchar is out for Denver. Dario Saric is out for Denver. Christian Brown is listed as questionable, so just watch that one, and Jamal Murray is probable. Now, if Brown is out, we're going to get more Strouder, and we probably get more Westbrook in that spot as well. Whereas for the Kings, Lyles and Carter are out, and then we don't have the update yet. But last game, Kevin Huerter, old Fanapants, left with a shoulder issue. He didn't practice either, so that is a bad sign. He has had many shoulder issues in the past. I probably should have put him there as a QD, a questionable to doubtful, because it doesn't feel like he'll play, and that will mean that we get more Keon Ellis in that spot, and there's just no one cutting into what Malik Monk does in his starting role. What I would want to watch on the Nuggets is the way they used the minutes last game. We saw it was a blowout, so that we got a lot more Peyton Watson and less Aaron Gordon. Is that anything, or is that just the blowout-related scenario? And then on the Kings, really, it's about your touches for Keegan Murray and assist rates for the 3 big guys, or 3 main guys. Peyton Watson is probably the streamer in Denver, although if Brown is out, I'd look to Strouder in that spot. And then Keon Ellis' value does rise pretty significantly with I would guess that Huerter is out. I don't know that for sure, but my estimation would be that Fanapants does not play. The 6th and final game of the day is the Utah Jazz. They are going to take on the LA Clippers, and the Clippers are 9-point favorites here. Both of these teams play Monday, Thursday, Saturday next week. That's not great. So they play on Monday, which is what we're talking about here. And then it's a 13-gamer and a 12-gamer. Not value. And then the week after, 3 games in week 10 for Utah and 2 for the Clippers. That's pretty bad as well. In terms of injuries, Svi Mykhailiuk missed the last game. He is questionable here for Utah. I don't think we worried too much about that. And in the Clippers, it's the same guys. It's Terrence Mann, it's Kawhi Leonard, and it is Derek Jones that are all out. Kobe Brown, I'm going to put as questionable, but I'm not really sure it matters either way. What we want to watch? Colin Sexton. Bro's been under 30 minutes, I think, for 4 consecutive games and down to like 24, 25 minutes with Jordan Clarkson back. And obviously, that's not enough for Sexton to be a 12-team league guy, and I actually think it's okay to drop him. But we watch, because if they push him back to 35, which has happened a few times already this season, then we'd be interested in it. But it's going to be a frustrating scenario. For the Clippers, Kevin Porter Jr., is he doing enough? He probably isn't. But we just keep watching how they use him, because they did reduce Jordan Miller's playing time last game and give more to Porter. So just watch that one. In terms of streams, the man on the street, JORDANCLARKSON, Jordan Clarkson was really strong last game, played 30 minutes in his first game back. That's a stream guide. Now, he can obviously go 1 of 12 and be absolutely horrid, but they prioritize him, which was interesting, so we watched that. And then Chris Dunn, you know what you're getting. It's not scoring, but you're going to get steals, and you're going to get blocks, or out-of-position blocks anyway, decent blocks. But steals is where it's at for Dunn. He is still recovering from an illness, and his conditioning is not there. COVID, I'm sure. But no one says that anymore. But Dunn had to pull himself out of the game because he just couldn't catch his breath. So just watch that in terms of upper limits of minutes. Not that he's a 30-minute a night guy, but 20 versus 24, it is a decent enough difference that we have to pay, I guess, some level of attention to that in terms of his value in streaming spots. We're going to come back and look at the streams of the day. First, before we do that, though, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, and you know that you're ready to tackle all of the NFL action with FanDuel, and it is America's #1 sportsbook right now. New customers could go ahead and bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 bet. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything that you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. In the middle of the game, you're watching, you see something developing, it's transpiring. You go, I'm going to place a live bet here. Instead of having to go dig out the live stats or wait for the play-by-play or watch the screen, it's all up there on the same spot that you would place those bets on the FanDuel app. So go to FanDuel.com, sign up, and get yourself $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel. And do not forget to gamble responsibly. Okay, so I'm not going to do chunks because over the next 5 actual days, there's only 3 game days. over the next 5 game days. It's just the week. And during that time, there's a 13 and 12 game day. So there's no real significant chunk advantage here, honestly. What you want to do is you'll find a Monday team that plays on Friday, and there are a couple of those. But overall, in terms of trying to gain yourself gigantic benefits, it's not an easy thing to do this week. So let's just move straight into talking about streaming. Also, in the 5s and 2s, no one has 5 games, and a million teams have 2 games, because again, it is a weird time where there are 2 days with no games on. So it's not a regular 7-day period. Let's take a look at the streaming options and the stream of the day. I actually do think that it is risky, but I do think Ben Simmons is a 10-team stream of the day. It could be Shake, it could be Keon, but Simmons is already getting 21. If he gets 25 and he adds an extra assist or 2 and a shot or 2, then maybe that's enough. I have some doubts. And this is a weird day in terms of the guys who might be useful. But Simmons is there. Chris Dunn is the guy I look at in 12-teamers, but again, that's really a defensive stat with some assists type of stream. Drew Smith is playing well, and we are seeing him get prioritized, honestly, in Miami, and that's worth a stream in 14s. And then 16s, we go to John Mobo, who's available in a lot of different spots. I still am not certain that he's going to start, but whatever, he is going to see at least an elevated role here. In terms of Yahoo points and ESPN points, BDNR and Nick Richards, it was bad last game for Richards. He played only 15 minutes. I don't know whether he plays 15 in this one or not. But what I do know is he's going to get some playing time. He's dropped under 40% rostered Richards on Yahoo, and that's enough for me to consider him a stream guy, although long-term, I do not think that Nick Richards is a 12-team league player, and I'm pretty sure you've heard me say that multiple times. We go through the 10-team stream list here. All of those names are staying at the top. We're talking Simmons and Dunn and Drew Smith and John Mobo. I'll add in Isaiah Stewart there. I'll add in Jordan Clarkson there as well. But it is a day where there are some players who are just available everywhere. Mobo, Smith, Dunn, who I think can have some value, and then you can throw in all the randomness in Brooklyn as well, where it's going to be a really weird day. For 12-team streamers, I do think that Duncan Robinson's still worth it, but we know there's volatility there. Kevin Porter's there. Lonzo Ball, look, if we cracked 20 plus, we'd be interested, but there's no guarantee of that, but I still like it as a stream. Keon Johnson might push 30 minutes. Dorian Finney-Smith's Dorian Finney-Smith could probably move into the 10-team stream zone as well, but he's really limited in terms of upside. And Karis LeVert's probably all upside and all downside. He's a risky one, as we know. If we look at deeper league ones, we go to Amir Coffey. There's Haywood Highsmith in that mix as well. Cody Martin, Nick Batum, Shake Milton, these guys are also close in value. You can easily put Shake to be the 3rd best option overall for the day, and I wouldn't fault you. I just don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if he's going to play 30 or if he's going to play 20 or if he's going to play 25 or he's going to play 16. I've got no idea. So Milton's interesting, but I don't know. And the other one there is Ron Holland, who cooked last game for Detroit, and Toby is out. But is it Fontecchio? Is it Thompson? Does Holland play 16 minutes? 22 minutes? I don't know. It is a 6-game day, which is great to get a bit of volume in, but it is weird. In terms of Yahoo point streaming, we are looking at Nick Richards up the top there, followed by Mobo, Jordan Clarkson, Kevin Porter, Kelly Oubre, and Big Ben Simmons. And then for ESPN points, it's a list that's pretty similar. We're starting with Richards at the top. We go to Mobo, Kevin Porter, Ben Simmons, Kelly Oubre Jr., and Jordan Man on the Street Clarkson. And that is a Monday preview. We'll be back later today with a Sunday recap show. Tomorrow there'll be an injury report show and there'll be a Monday recap show, but obviously there'll be no Tuesday preview because that game does not count for fantasy. But in the meantime, you can go ahead and thumb up this video, but you can also just, again, be kind to yourself. We head to Christmas. It can be tough for people at this time of year. It can be great for people as well. But just remember to acknowledge that you've done a good thing. I don't know what it is, but I know it's there. Small, big, whatever. Acknowledge it. Say it out loud to yourself. Move on. Do something different. Look forward. Work on the negatives, but look forward. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.